FNX was made possible by our founding partner, the Yuhaviatam of San Manuel Nation. This reporting was supported by the International Women's Media Foundation's Fund for Indigenous Journalists, reporting on missing and murdered Indigenous women, girls, Two-Spirit, and transgender people, MMIWG2T.
Raising awareness is one of the most important things you can do, and these things our people face should be at the forefront.
Our women literally get killed. Our women literally go missing.
I think it's a wonderful idea to bring awareness to these beautiful missing Indigenous women.
I love the fact that the Runway can turn into a platform of advocacy.
Milan Fashion Week is a great opportunity to create awareness.
It needs to be talked about because people don't talk about it.
Hey everybody, we just landed in Milan. The film crew is here and I feel all yucky.
My name is Rose McFadden. I am from the Navajo tribe over in Arizona, and I am the Chief Creative Officer for Isabella Rose Design Company. And I am a Purple Heart veteran as well, so I spent a chunk of years in the military, and I've been doing this, I would say, about solidly 6 years. My expertise is in accessories, and so this is one of the breastplates that we'll be using for our MMIW dress, and we're going to be attaching eagle feathers. These are going to hang right below here, and this piece was actually made specifically for our missing and murdered Indigenous people's dress. Missing and murdered Indigenous people have been something that our people have dealt with for a long time, and raising awareness is one of the most important things you can do, and making it a very comfortable conversation of these things our people face should be at the forefront. And I'm glad we're here in Italy for fashion, for business, for growing business, but we're also here to share that platform of we do have these issues. We are people that are about community and supporting families that go through this. Going through it yourself, there's a lot of heartbreak in it. And I'm very happy to travel across the world to do something like that because it's extremely important. The last time I was traveling across the world was to serve my country in its selfless service, and I just happened to get hurt, and it changed the trajectory of how I see things and the importance of standing up and doing the right thing.
My name is Rebecca Jarvie, and I'm Chippewa Cree and Blackfeet from Rocky Boy, Montana, which is located north central Montana, 60 miles south of the Canadian border. There is people who don't know they still don't know about what is MMIW, and we still have to educate people about what it is. And coming from Montana, we have the highest rate of murdered and missing Indigenous people out of like all the tribes. Like we're one of the top 10. Those statistics, it's like kind of messes with you because it's like, man, that's my home, you know? They're talking about my home, like, and it just kind of messes with you. And like my uncle, he went missing and he was like a grown man back in 2011. And so, you know, so it kind of like, it's hard for me to like talk about it or to like do that kind of work, but I know there's a lot of awareness brought to the Runway about it, and I get asked about it. And so my family, they said it was okay to make that collection and pay tribute to that. And the flags that I have on the current collection, this lovely couple, they travel all over the United States, and they go in prayer, and they hand painted each of the flags. That's like the MMIW look that goes down the runway.
So this is the MMIW, it stands for Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women, and so this is to bring awareness to everybody who is missing and murdered within Indian country. We want to make sure that people know that we have family members who are out there. We want to help people and their families find them. So bringing awareness to the fact that we need more resources to go to the families that have missing family members out there, that everyone's important, and that this movement is not something that was in the past, but it's a very real issue.
So my name is Laura Nicole. I am Kumyai as well as Lisenyo, and I'm representing my nations here. To be able to be on this global stage is immensely huge, to be able to have that representation, that voice, that presence, that we are here. Not only that, I was asked to wear an important piece of Rebecca Jarvis, which is the MMIW piece, and I don't take that lightly. I wanted to make sure that wearing that I honored not just what it meant, but the people who are affected by it, and that on the runway I turn something so beautiful as far as fashion goes into a platform of strength, resilience, be able to speak for people that can't speak for themselves and to represent them in the best way that I know how.
My name is Cecilia Kuhn. I am an enrolled member of the Northern Cheyenne tribe. I'm also a Crow and Chippewa Cree. I'm here in Milan to represent our culture, bring it out to like cities that have never seen it before. But Milan is super like hectic. It's busy. It's a little bit chaotic because we have people lining up behind the photographers to take pictures of us, and they're coming up to us. They're like, "Where are you from? I've never seen this before." And we're like, "We're from America. Like we are Native Americans." And they're like, "I've never seen a Native before." And I'm like, "Yeah, well, here we are." And it was amazing to bring our flags because people were taking pictures of that. We had all of our flags, us and our tribes, representing here in Milan. And people were like astounded. They were like, what is happening? It was like a movement. It was awesome. To just see like all of the Indigenous people like coming together to be like, this is a big issue. Like this is a huge issue happening all over. How do people not care that a literal human being, a human being that is from this earth, went missing, got taken? And honestly, it's like super sad just to like have that realize that like that's happening all over the world and people don't care. It needs to be talked about because people don't talk about it.
Shi'e Maureen Mink Yeneshe, and I'm here representing the Navajo Nation. I just remember as a little girl watching fashion shows and lighting up when they walked down the runway, and the one thing I never saw was someone that looked like me. We as Native women, we deserve to be seen. And I think it's a wonderful idea to bring awareness to these beautiful missing Indigenous women. It's a very difficult concept, I think, to understand, and I absolutely love the empowerment that it's bringing and awareness and to do it in such a beautiful setting, I love it.
I was probably like 10 years old around that time, and we had one of our male cousins that was murdered in Phoenix, Arizona. And, you know, during that time, he was a favorite. He was a favorite person. We spent a lot of time with him. He was a big brother. And when you like someone in your family, when they are liked and they are just a part of every function, the missing part of them hurts. But, you know, when we talk about missing and murdered Indigenous people, these are disregarded. The feeling, it is about the person that's missing physically in life and no longer here, but it's actually the harder part. It's the layers that we have to peel back of the complete disregard, the inhumane part of not trying to find out what happened to them, and the lack of attention to detail to make sure this doesn't happen again. And, you know, with that, it builds up anger on the inside. It builds up, you know, bitterness, and anything like that will fester into hate. And I think that in situations like this, we don't want to hate the people that we need help from.
I've sat with women and, you know, where that happened to their sisters, their daughters, their first cousins. And when I put something out there, I'm real careful about what I put out there. I'm real sensitive with it, because you're talking about somebody's pain. And it's not necessarily directly your pain, but it's somebody's pain. And so you want to be sensitive to that person's pain, and you don't want to just go start talking about their pain openly. You want to be respectful in that aspect to make sure you get, you know, the permission to talk about that from your family or your community or the people that was affected by that issue.
I know on the Crow Reservation there was a girl who went missing. She has not been found. And it just got scraped under the carpet like it was nothing. That needs to be published more. That needs to be like more brought out, not just in Indigenous communities, but to like other races. Like I see a lot of designers put like the handprint over their models. I know dancers will also do the handprint over their face, over their mouth. That also represents like the movement. I love when they put it on their designs and they make a huge statement. I love those statement pieces. Designers just bring that movement to the stage, to a big stage.
I didn't know that they had a high human trafficking here in Milan. I guess that's really tough to swallow, you know, I didn't know that. Now I'm curious, after finding that out, I'm curious like what kind of movement they have for their people here, or what kind of advocacy they do. Like, does their designers bring that awareness to the runway? And if they do, how do they do that, like in their way? And how do they advocate in their way for their people, for the ones that don't have a voice, you know? And so that's what I'm curious and I'm interested about. And if they do come to the fashion show, hopefully that they get inspired by the message, and hopefully they can, you know, bring that awareness in some shape or form. And that's what my hopes would be.
When you want to break barriers as a Native American, it's not so much that we're still here, it's what are we going to do? What is our purpose? What are the challenges that we overcome? And where do we want to go? Like, you know, the simple question is, where do we want to go with our heart, our mind, our hands, our purpose, our feet? What are we going to walk into?
Don't look there.
And I loved watching them walk into the center of the city. and to be so proud of their work. Those are the most beautiful things, in my opinion, when it comes to being Native American and representing where you're from, because it's not a specific representation, it's an entire whole. And without really knowing, you do so beautifully representing your community, your family, where you're from, and also just who you are.
With my business, I do screen printing, so I wanted to make sure that every single person in this team and everyone that came from our Indigenous community had a keepsake. So I was collaborating with Rose, and we were kind of discussing like how the sweater, we made a hoodie, could represent and just embody this trip altogether. So on the back, we did print the Duomo on it, and it does say Milan Fashion Week with Isabella Rose and Rebecca Jarvie. And on the front, it has the date, and then we did put the MMIW hand.
The MMIW look from the Social Justice Collection, I'm smiling not to be like disrespectful, but I'm smiling because the way it came, like it just like, it was meant to be, I guess you could say, in one of those situations. Like it would just all came together and it was just meant to be. Because like when the couple was talking about, they just came from ceremony and then they're like holding the flags. They're like, we hand painted each flag, like they said they hand painted like 400 of them. And we walked with them and we took them through ceremony, and they're like, we want to gift you one. And when they're like, we want to gift you one, me and Rose like looked at each other and were like, oh, like it like, you know, like me and Rose just knew like, this is like part of the puzzle to the MMIW look that we're going to show in Milan. Like me and Rose just knew instantly, like, you know, this is it. This is how things fall into place. This is like, we were meant to be here. And that's when she talked about, and she's like, we call them our warriors, she said. They're no longer MMIP or MMIW. She's like, it's murdered and missing Indigenous warriors. She goes, because they are warriors and they're gonna come home. And when she explained that, man, we were all like heartfelt, you know, we were like, man, that's so powerful. And then that's when I was like, I'm a fashion designer. I told him, I was like, and I would love to bring your flag down the runway in remembrance of what you guys are doing. And he was like, I'll give you however much you want. And so that's the look, the MMIW look. And then Rose, she will be creating, and she did create special earrings to go with the look.
We work with Rebecca Jarvie, and with hers, she loves these bold colors. And I loved listening to her story because she shared about growing up and just having a different vision of living life in the fashion world. And growing up on the reservation, you don't really have that. In fact, you know, we struggle financially and with resources that those things feel like they're not attainable. So, you know, in a bigger light, I'm really proud of her for like actually being here and putting her best foot forward because, you know, we talked about the fusion of the collection. It is bright, it is bold, it comes with a lot of small elements from her tribe, from my tribe, and that's the beautiful part of what we get to bring to the runway. And it's over the top, it's in your face, it's bold. It's not supposed to be there. It's in the street. It's in the camera lights. It's on stage, and it should be. It should be there. It should be across the world, like where we're at. It's a very important, impactful message that we speak through our art. Our Native American people have been doing it for years. We've worn our art not so much as adornment, but more so as like armor. We've created our pieces to serve purpose. And, you know, we go back to that when we talk about protecting our families, our women, our children, and it's all with everything that we wear. And so when I was creating pieces for this particular event in Milan, it was with so much intention that you'll see the pieces that I have, like I created this beautiful breastplate. Which was significant to protecting your heart and protecting what you would face. And even though we had people that lost their lives, I didn't want them or their families to lose their spirit.
Every fashion show that I've ever been to within the last 2 years, there's always been an MMIW piece present, regardless, you know, so it is something that affects us all, every nation, you know, and I do love that it is represented on the runway in beautiful ways every single time that I've been in a show. So this time, wearing MMIW, I wanted to make sure that I did it well. You know, I wanted to make sure that I honored everybody who is affected by it well. And I love the fact that the runway can turn into a platform of advocacy, that this issue is happening and we want to bring attention to it in such a beautiful way.
Today is fashion show day in Milan, Italy. I'm on my way to the venue right now. I just got done getting my hair and makeup done by Miss Goldie Tom, and I'm wearing my Isabella Rose earrings, and I got my Brandy Sanguis lashes and my Warpath 1 custom coat, and so I will be...
We have to see more Indigenous women, and the way I see myself is just a conduit. I mean, I'm here, but there were people before me, and there are going to be people after me, and really to understand that it's not about me, that it is about my community that is following me here. It is about my ancestors, and we've always been here, and we've always been strong, and just understanding that we're all together in this, and we're all brothers and sisters, and so I'm really excited about what we can really bring to the table.
I am here for those little girls, those little boys, the people of like non-binary people, like everyone. We can do anything that other races can. We need to get on bigger screens, and we need to be more recognized as Indigenous people.
When you're creating something that you wear for a purpose, it brings a level of strength to speaking about tough subjects like this. What does fighting against something look like? What does standing up for the right thing look like? And everything that I'll be wearing will be that. You know, there couldn't be a better place to stand up for the right thing in such a powerful way, and that's what I'll be wearing.
Us designers, when we put a MMIW piece down the runway, we're advocating for our people because we love it, not because we were funded by the government, not because we were paid to do that. That's because we love our people and we're advocating for them.
This reporting was supported by the International Women's Media Foundation's Fund for Indigenous Journalists, reporting on missing and murdered Indigenous women, girls, Two-Spirit, and transgender people, MMIWG2T.